Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is a reading video. I don't really have too much to say for an intro, but there has definitely been changes in the US the past few days. So, um, seems like there's a lot going on everywhere. Um, so I hope everything is well, or as much as it can be, in different areas of the world. I have some first world things now that I think about it. I It's been warm this fall or autumn, and I tend to get heat rashes, especially like my neck and my chest area gets irritated, but hopefully it'll cool down. I It's random too, but I got another all-in-one adapter. This is actually a different one than the previous one that I purchased. I'm in high hopes that my electric spinning wheel from Ukraine will arrive soon. It's been a journey for that package, and it wasn't shipped from Ukraine this time. Um, it was shipped from Poland, um, and I've been seeing how it's been with the tracking information. Um, it is delayed, but I'm hoping it's okay. And I understand with the delays, so it arrives soon. But I'm happy that I found this because it wasn't too expensive. It wasn't as uh, there were some other adapters that were a lot more expensive than this one, and I didn't want to I didn't want to buy them. So I had to check. I honestly I don't really know. I know in general what the plug is supposed to look like for when it arrives, but I feel like, well, it plugs into the outlets here with this one, and then the other side it has the dots. So, um, that's not the right one. I don't know how to do this. It's, is it this? No, it's not. How do I get it to, have this one? No, it's still, so there's this one. I don't think it's this one. It says UK. I don't know how to get this one out. Oh, it just pops out. And then I think I don't want to break it actually. How do I take it out? So there's this one. I think that's what I'm supposed to have. It's not gonna convert the voltage. Um, It should be fine. Use for use in over 150 countries. So it's type A, C, I, and G. I believe I'm expecting it to, I don't, you can't see it, but expecting it to be type C. And then the US uses type A. So I feel like regardless, I'll find this. I don't want to break it. And then putting it back to Japan, Australia, New Zealand, or no. So, does it matter? This is Japan and then South America and North America. The one that is like this. But before I plug it in, I plugged it in already, but before I plug it in with the thing I'm putting in here, I had to be being confused. I had to see, I guess I'm putting it in a vertical way, maybe, unless it doesn't matter the shape of the plug, and I could just stick it. I didn't see it in the manual, but I'm thinking it goes like here. If not, maybe, I don't know. But I'm happy that I found it because there was other plugs that were more straightforward that had the plug, oh my God, had the plug for like if you were to go overseas and it didn't have the type that would plug in for the US outlet, the type A. So, um, it it'll be something that I'll use. And I'll get started on the reading. There's been more messages in my dreams lately. Some were specific, and some, there was one that was really specific that was actually ominous, that was not part of my thoughts or dreams. It was very specific, so I was a little wary about it, but I do like to make sure that I pay attention to what I remember in my dreams. Because I've never had the message before. I don't know what it, why, I mean, I have an idea. But then I received like other messages in the dreams too, and it was interesting with the way that it was coming out and how it was being. And you know, when you dream in a dreamlike state, the scenery and symbols, it's very abstract than in like when you're awake. I woke up one day because it's been 3 days. I don't know if anyone gets tired of watching the readings, so I try to see if I space it out a little bit just to not say too much of like if it's a continuation of the last reading, but if I feel like I want to do the reading, of course I'll do the reading, and I like to do these. Um, it was really, actually, it was close to a dream that I had in childhood, one of them. But as for waking up one day, um, there was lyrics, I suppose, to one of the hymns that you would hear during Mass. And come and follow me, I will bring you home. I love you and you are mine. I mean, it's not something that I listen to a lot, but um, I mean, when I was taking care of my aunt more, because my godmother is back, um, it was at her bedside and I was doing the daily things, and the altar next to her bedside, there's a candle, and when I arrived, the candle went out. I mean, there's nothing really to put it out, so it was something to take note of. I have called you each by name. Come and follow me. I will bring you home. I love you and you are mine. And I don't really hear, I don't go to Mass that it's been years. I mean, I have stepped into my the church that was with my elementary school recently, um, but I haven't had that type of thing really in terms of listening to that music, um, and even daily. I my aunt, she's not related to me, but I call her my aunt. She's my godfather's sister, and every day she has either the rosary, like she would play it, or she would play like a mass on a phone, and it would be all day, but the songs don't come up like that. And I was thinking, I mean, I wouldn't say, well, I would consider myself a spiritual person in some regards, but it's just of the things that I've experienced. I have spent hours doing the rosary, not by, I don't have anything against it, but it wasn't particularly by choice. So I know the whole routine of, it sounds rude. I know how to pray with the rosary, and it, I wouldn't say it takes hours for a sitting to go through the beads and the sorrowful mysteries and doing the prayers with it, but I know what to do with it. So there can be energy of someone trying. This is specific. So there can be people that are a person that you get along well with and nothing has happened. But if there has been a specific person or instance where you knew that it really affected how you perceived this situation or there's this person, and you just like, well, for me, I tend to cut ties. And if that's the case, if I feel like I don't feel like there's enough respect for it to go further, then that's it. It's not, I feel like maybe everyone has had that experience, but it's a specific thing that I noticed, as if someone tries to amend something and it may be difficult for the message to get received in that way. It can also be feeling like a lurking energy too. So, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Um, wasn't sure if I was going to mention one of the specific dreams because it's not exactly, I mean, a lot of my dreams aren't exactly the most pleasant in terms of what comes to me, but there was an energy that was not part of the dream. And so I tried, I feel like I was more in a secluded area, and then there was someone in front of me, and I didn't know the person that was in front of me. And then there was a whisper in the dream, and the whisper in the dream was to kill them. And that's when I started running. I tried to run to uh, a public area. That was like my mindset in the dream. I was like, well, if anything happens, if I'm in a public area, it's going to be hard for more serious things to transpire. So that was like one of the main messages. But then when I heard the hymn, um, and I look at it different types of spirituality and how it connects to me. So there's some things that kind of bring closure, that can bring comfort. So I heard it as if I was hearing it like in mass when you have the people playing the music and singing. So it didn't feel like it was oppressive or anything, because with those lyrics, I guess you can maybe see it in another way, but I remember it and it wasn't bad. And I'm happy that, although I'm not particularly like religious in specific ways like that, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not offended by it. I didn't have a bad experience in that way. Uh, there were some singular, separate experiences, but in terms of that, it wasn't bad. There's also an energy of, and that's why I kept, well, there, before I go into the next thing, I wanted to emphasize that if you're really into a person or it's been going well or it's been kind of steady, because of course things um, might, like life throws random things at you sometimes, but overall it a great experience. It could be to keep fighting on and feeling like you can have success in that area. I remember when I was in college and I took one specific class for a semester, and I was over the moon because at the end of the semester, um, after everything, I finally got a perfect score, and I was happy because I was the only one to receive a perfect score in the whole semester. So it was something that I've cherished. And if you keep going and there's a persistence and passion for achieving success, it'll be successful. I feel like it also, there's a sense of maybe you have the Seven of Wands here, that there are things to be upheld. There can be, again, maybe ominous things or things or people that try to deter you from those passions or path, but there is a determination that comes out of it too. And in time, it seems like reaping those rewards and feels like there's going to be a satisfaction. But you also have the Ten of Wands here too, so they're not the easiest energies, especially from the Wand suit. There's the Seven of Wands and then the Ten of Wands. They're kind of more difficult energies because you feel like there's energy to prove something, and then there's also a lot of weight on your shoulders in this card too. And this can be because there's an elderly person there. It can also be if you've done this for a long time and you know how to do it without hurting yourself. Like if you're, say, if you fight somebody, like you're physically fighting somebody, there are certain things like maybe techniques or ways to attack them, to maybe for accuracy or um, like a heavy blow type of situation. But it's also to make sure that you don't hurt yourself in the process or hurt yourself too badly. If you know it can be like a risky move. Because with the Empress card here, it's absolutely not an easy or painless experience when you have the Empress and you have the um, going through pregnancy, and it doesn't have to be a person that's specifically going through pregnancy, but one of those connections with it. And it's it can be really ruthless at times, and it's also getting to know your body and knowing the other person or the baby. There is that sense of connection because what's the baby growing in the womb. And I also feel like I could be telepathic in a way. And also to read situations and people, maybe the way that they react or their body language when they're fighting. Um, of course, there's predictability, and like also there are moments where things are super unpredictable. But there is the magician here. And I would say there's a strength of knowing what you can do. I feel like there's also times when you work on the things that you're just learning and getting accustomed to, but there's specific energy of knowing the things that can be done and going full force with it, especially if you feel like it can't, there's a chance that there are changes and the way that things move, the way that maybe um, the benefits are to your advantage, to make sure that if it's to your advantage right now and you might have a feeling that things can temporarily be turned this way and that way. I was really seeing it with like a game of billiards, and I feel like it's a little more secure than seeing it as like a game of poker. I think that there is definitely precision and perception with that. I feel like there's more predictability with that than meets the eye. Because right now, it seems up in the air for some things. But for sure, if there's something that can be done at the moment, I would go full force with it. And you have the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups with is it the gills? I feel like it's the ability to breathe underwater. It just seems that when it feels that there's a suffocation there with feeling overwhelmed or something that may say, or a person may say, this can't be done, there's more to the advantage than a disadvantage. Um, and resources have a way of coming to you too. That's more of a specific thing. There's something at the like assistance, and in a good way, I'm saying like at the disposal of, but there's always an appreciation too. It's nice. The card that I'm getting is Take Back Your Power, Archangel Raziel. Use your God given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. And it can also be using resources in different ways. Because something that might seem like a bad thing might also be a good thing. When I was younger, and this is a specific thing, and I hope no one gets scared or like steps back from it, because I I don't necessarily think it's bad, but especially when I was younger, I was known to be, so it was like, it's as if she fights like a demon, or when she gets instigated or angered, it's like she goes black. And I feel like it can be, I just think that it's, it's interesting because during those times, um, my dad, in his own way, he would go in my defense and say, I know she's not an angel, but she's a good kid. And some family would be weary of me. A lot of them I didn't really have any associations with, and at that point I didn't really care. But um, it can be personality, and then there were others that were wondering about the kind of lack of parental supervision at a lot of those instances. But I felt at ease because my godmother was one of the only people that really kind of took me in, and it wasn't with any hesitation or anything. And it's interesting because they would call me Angel, uh, but I'm not offended either way. And it could also be like, with your names too, because my name means dark, and then Leah is my confirmation name, so that's not my middle name. But my middle name means queen, so it's like Dark Queen. And there is that sense of maybe peace or justice that comes out of it in some way, because I feel like there's also that humbleness too, but it's also wondering if I was called to do specific things, because I think, do demons fear me too? Because you have the Hermit here, and then the Take Your Power Back is with that card. And you see the book here, and there was, oh my god, the card that is, again, is the Ace of Cups. With the Hermit is the Ten of Swords, and the Queen of Wands with the Hermit and Take Your Power Back. Because with the book and the Hermit, there's always that attentiveness or knowledge that comes out of it. Hermit's also associated with Virgo too. Um, Queen of Wands can be associated with Sagittarius. There is the fire energy as well. Also associated with the Temperance card in the Major Arcana. Um, Swords being air too. One of the other dreams that I had was, it was almost like a vision. And I was in a room, and it was an olden room. Because sometimes I'm just like, Adrian, where did you go this time? There was a priest that was sitting near the bedside, and it looked like he was finished performing something like, you know, uh, I would say, like an exorcism or what have you. Because the hermit is, it's just like that knowledge that paves the way. It feels like energy or moments that pave the way. I feel that an important part is when I moved to New England. So, if you don't know New England is in the Northeast, so it consists of like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, of those types of states in that area. I feel like it also awakened something in me, and it made me feel like the comfort of being up there. So that area is also more known for, like the witch trials and everything. And I feel like people were more flamboyant or like out and about doing their own thing in in New England. And I was really happy and comfortable in that area. And I feel like it did also ignite the feeling of wanting to go to Europe because it does have more of a historical background, or I mean, historical is that would be anything really, but more of like an olden type of area because a lot of the US is pretty new, and um, New England, the intention of making it the New England as opposed to the regular England, that would be a general reason of why it's called that. So at the time, although it did ignite something in me more, um, I was still more of like, I feel like I still have a softness to me, but I I would say the Northeast in general, I've said this before, it's like a hardy place, especially in terms of like personalities. It can be harsh, um, like if you're soft. So I ended up not staying there, but I feel like I I felt at ease when I was in the area. So the obstacle is the Ace of Pentacles, and underneath that is relationship harmony. So Archangel Raguel, we angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. With the Ace of Pentacles, I'm just getting that with the multiple people that I've gotten in other readings, but in this reading specifically, it's like other people's problems or the things that people have done just kind of piled on top of what was going on. So it just kind of made it more difficult than what it was before. And it looks like a puppet hand there too. So there could be instances where maybe maybe people didn't want it to be like that. How to overcome the obstacle is the Knight of Pentacles with, there's another card. Healthy lifestyle, Archangel Raphael, eat a healthful diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimal health. Prior, oh, did I? Prioritize Archangel Metatron, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. I feel like this goes with the Knight of Pentacles the most, and then sensitivity. You are extra, Archangel Haniel. You are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. These two cards, like the sensitivity and the healthy lifestyle. I'm sorry. um, it kind of feels like when the saying goes of making sure that it's it's like kind of a stretch of the saying, but it still kind of goes with it. Making sure that your cup is full and like taking care of yourself. So when the time comes, it's like you're good to go, or it's like at least preparations have been made to some extent. And there is like still a concentration of to keep moving and to keep being consistent with the Knight of Pentacles and prioritize. Because it's almost saying like just because these things are happening doesn't mean that it's gonna deter the inevitable. Because I feel like there is some success that is inevitable to how it's going to be. And there's also perception too that it was also coming up as like how it's going to be perceived. There's just a sense of it's like to keep going, and it's not saying to give up on it. So I think that's a really definite response to the obstacles of if things feel like they're just piling up and getting in the way. It doesn't, in some regards, it like really doesn't mean anything. Can be like the youngest um, sibling mentality too, at least for me, that like it's already yours. Like the moment you knew, like it's yours. The past is the Nine of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. This, it seems like with the Nine of Pentacles, it's almost like planning with this Nine of Cups. Like planning festivities and preparations for something to look forward to. Also, the past cards, you know what to do, Archangel Uriel, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. And gifts from God. Archangel Saldaphon, we angels bring you gifts from your Creator, open your arms to receive. And I want to say, like, that connection to a recent dream that I had when I was talking about what I heard and when I was going to a public area. When I was in my childhood home near this area, I did have a similar thing where I was being chased. And I did tell my dad I was like, the bad guys are chasing me. Only this time, I wasn't being chased. I mean, I still was trying to like get to a public area just in case. But you have the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands with the Release or Death card, right? And it's the Death card. So, Four of Wands, Four of Fire, contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, the successful completion of a project. This could also be feeling that somebody wants to make more of an impression on you than you know. Because I feel like there's that sense of secrecy to it, but it's not in the worst way. With the relationship harmony and the Ace of Pentacles, it can also be like the busyness of it too. That the person may not like directly come up to you and say it. Maybe it's like trying to wait for the right time, or maybe there's just so much going on that it's it would seem to be irresponsible to do other things. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it irresponsible when you're trying to relay something like that. There's there might be like the chance with the death card, release Archangel Azrael, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. There can be that sense of wanting to close things or wanting to make sure that things are well taken care of, is what I'm specifically getting. And that could be the overall transformation that you get from the death card too. Because death card is also really is related to transforming. It's also can be a card related to Scorpio season too. And then you have the Five of Water and the Five of Cups, and then the Three of Water, Three of Cups. So the Death card is Major Arcana Magician, Major Arcana Hermit, and that's what I see for Major Arcana. So things are not turning out the way that they hope, not seeing the positive in the situation, crying over spilled milk. So with the last phrase, crying over spilled milk, is a general association with this card. It's associated a lot with this card. It's also minor arcana, so I wouldn't worry too much about it too. And as I said that, like, there's like the, what is it? The whistling of your ear. I'm trying to think. But also minor arcana, Three of Cups, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement, a need to have more fun. So this can be a process of getting more comfortable with coming to terms with something. And that could be excitement brewing too. So the Five of Cups came up before the Three of Cups because it kind of brings it back to somewhat the center. I mean, it's a three card, but because it has like wedding, graduation, or birth announcement and celebration. So it's remembering those things, and it kind of brightens the mind instead of making it seem like it's more gloomier than what it needs to be. The feature is the Two of Pentacles. It's kind of like the obstacle is the Ace of Pentacles, and then the feature is the Two of Pentacles. It's not the easiest task or journey, but it's also a minor arcana card too. So it shouldn't deter you from trying to succeed. With that, you have the Comfort, Archangel Azrael. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. This card, I feel like, would be the card to feel like there's hope in success and to have optimism. You are safe, Archangel Michael. I'm protecting you against lower energies and guarding you, your loved ones, and home. And creative writing, Archangel Gabriel. Make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or book. With this one, I'm specifically getting maybe there is a momentum or things. I feel like it has to do with communication too. So maybe finding ways to express yourself to, I feel like it's a person, finding different ways to express yourself maybe when you finally confront the situation or person. Um, it could be jotting down or like brainstorming and maybe finding out who they are, what they do, how they might react to certain things, their likes, dislikes, and formulating, like with the magician card, on what can be an outcome that can make things move forward in a great way. And the card that is wanting to say something is the card from the past unit to do. Archangel Uriel, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was a helpful video. I'll see you in another video. Bye.